How's it going? This is a great question, Dominique, and I want to just try to do a video response because I'm sitting at my computer and I was about to type it out, and I thought, why not just try to record it and see if this works? But anyway, um, being a financial coach is a personal experience, and the client will ultimately buy you. However, I'm curious who your competitors are. Dave Ramsey, free resources. This is a tough one, and I'm gonna go a little philosophical here in that competitors, it's tough because I'm kind of reluctant to use the word competitors, and it's not one of these things I obsess about. I think in terms of like the truest competitors, it's other financial coaches, the people out there who are saying that they are a financial coach. Yes, Dave Ramsey has financial coaches. I don't know that that is even a huge piece of competition for most people, because the Dave Ramsey name does carry some weight with people. But I also think that some of the people who have gone through the Ramsey course are maybe a little skittish about using people, coaches who might be trained in the Dave Ramsey style, because he's kind of has a very direct, maybe even brash approach, and they're kind of wondering whether the coaching would have that too. And I know some of the Dave Ramsey coaches, and like I said, I don't think that their door is being knocked down with coaching business. It's really kind of just an additional, validations. It's almost like any of the certifications that you get, that it's just helped put people at ease. And Dave Ramsey has a lot of PR out there, a lot of visibility. So it's just kind of one of those things. But I don't know that it's a huge differentiator. I've never really met anyone that's felt like the Dave Ramsey coaching certification has really done much other than what they're already doing, kind of the marketing they're already doing. So who are our competitors? I would say coaches. It's like I've said, I kind of think of it as the financial continuum. There's financial therapy and counseling, coaching, education, which is literacy, financial advising, financial investment management, planning. There are all these things, and it's not really so much that any of them compete with anyone else. It's just, where do we fit on the spectrum? And for a lot of people that will work with us, hopefully maybe they'll graduate to more need in a financial advising or investment management or some of those things, or maybe they'll uncover that they're not going deep enough and they need to speak with a financial therapist or something like that, and kind of go into the feelings and their history and personal experience about money and more, or something like that. So I'd say the most competition specifically is really just the number of people out there who are saying, I'm a financial coach. And it's really hard, I think, as the consumer to differentiate between any of us, because it sounds like a financial coach is a financial coach. I think having some certifications does help do that a little bit. And as you say, and I think the big key is here, that ultimately certification or not, training or not, life experiences or not, what people are trying to determine is like, can I work with you? Are you the right person for me? So I think you nailed it, that all we're really trying to do is say, I'm not trying to bash anyone else, and I'm not trying to say someone isn't better than me. I'm not trying to say any of that. But do I have what you need to kind of excel, to develop, to learn, to grow, to start achieving and make a process to pursuing your goals? Do I have that? Like, between you and me, is that something that's a good fit? And for a lot of people, obviously, I think for a lot of financial coaches out there, we'd say, yes, I'm a good fit for you, but it's really ultimately up to the person. And so I think one of the things that helps there is, again, us showing how we work, our personality, kind of the style that we work in, kind of the tips that we give, a little bit of flexing of our educational muscle, and showing kind of our unique value and our experiences and some of those things. And I think video is a great way to do that. So you just start to feel a little bit of a connection with people as you're kind of test driving them, because I think it's a big step when you take on a relationship with someone who's going to be tapping into your financial information, right? So it's a big step when someone hires a financial advisor. I came from that world, and what you don't get is a lot of people just shopping around on price, because they want to have that trust factor. So how do you build that trust? And like I said, whether it's a podcast or phone calls or just running into people, I think familiarity with people is going to help. If you go to the same quilting groups or golf tournaments, and you meet the same people all the time, that type of rapport and relationship building is going to help people feel more comfortable about saying, hey, I do have a financial question that I want to ask you, because you seem to have a lot of these tips. And that's a great sign. That's a huge sign that they're saying, hey, I'm willing to kind of go past the facade of friendship and ask you something that's more personal or more on a business level. And so I think the biggest competition is just with other coaches, and trying to kind of cut through and differentiate yourself from everyone else who's writing blog posts and producing materials and resources. A lot of people are out there pounding the pavement through video or networking groups and things like that, and that will work. Just the law of large numbers. They will broadcast their message out there and get enough lead generation out there to get in. So the other thing I would say too, and we haven't talked about it a lot here, and I'm going to talk about it in the future videos, is referral partners. And for me, I would kind of suggest finding one good referral partner that you really think you can make some referrals to and get some back from, and just work with them. For me, when I was a financial advisor, it was a mortgage broker. It was a friend of mine. We were about the same age, kind of at the same life stage, building our own businesses. And so it was just really natural. We were kind of rooting for each other. And man, we just got along together. Even if it wasn't just for referrals, we'd get together. And I still get together with Sam, and we grab beers or have lunch or whatever and dinner, and that we live close together. And so it's one of those things where it's beyond just becoming a referral partner, which was at the time. And it was like, then I could pour my energy in them. And I also didn't have to think about, hey, I've got this referral to a mortgage broker, but I have 3 mortgage brokers that I'm trying to dish referrals to. I knew Sam was the best. He would do my mortgages, so I'd have no problems referring him out. He actually worked a little bit like me. He kind of had a similar personality. It was I think a fun guy, but better looking than me, but he explained things really well. He broke things down really well. So, I would try to find one of those too, because I think that's going to help, when you have some of that borrowed social capital, some of the people that work. So in my case, people that were working with Sam, getting the mortgage through him, they like that personality style. They like the kind of the amount of interaction. They like just the way he worked and handled himself. And since I was very similar to that, it was a very easy fit or migration to have people come over. They had a very similar experience, not because I was trying to manipulate the experience to be similar, but it was just experientially similar because we were similar. And so it worked really well. So that will also help, I think, kind of fast track you and kind of pull you out of the abyss of all these financial coaches. I feel like there's just this chorus of financial coaches out there, financial coaching, and it's really hard to kind of stand out and say, why should you think about me? Or why should you think about using my services as opposed to this person, or what makes me different? And so I think that's really the big thing. The other thing I would say is kind of your life story and where you're working and your target audience and that value proposition that you have for them, and all kind of big marketing buzzwords, but really like what is unique about you? What is your particular niche that will resonate with people, as opposed to, I see people saying like, oh, I work with anyone who has financial stress. Well, okay. And they think, well, everyone has financial stress, so that's going to resonate with a lot of people. Well, it just doesn't ring in the heart. It rings in the head a little bit, like, oh, I have financial stress. Okay, so you've got my attention. Like, what's next? But if you kind of ring in their soul a little bit, maybe you're like I said, I knew a financial coach, and she was a single mother raising a son, and then that son went into the military, so she was working with single mothers, and she worked with um, parents of military children. And so she just had this niche because it worked for her, and people were looking for that kind of help. So I'm not sure what everyone's niche is, but as you kind of think of your story and think of like, hey, what makes me unique? What gives me kind of a unique outlook on life? That might help you kind of figure out, hey, I can speak to this audience specifically. So hopefully that helps kind of raise and elevate your visibility out of the sea of coaches, which I really think is the key competition for most of us. So that's my long-winded way of giving you this answer. And thank God I didn't type it out, because my fingers would be bloody right now. So hopefully that helps. Talk to you later.